The opinions and views expressed in the following program are those of the speakers and the host, and do not necessarily reflect those of Yoakley Scott Corporation and your sports network.
Yeah, I've been closer to Jesus before, so can you help me out? Oh, can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? But can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? Or can you help me out? Can you help me out? I've been scared to look in my soul. I've been afraid I would follow the road. Yeah, afraid of the things I've been told.
And hello, everybody. Welcome inside a Thursday episode of Running Point on ysnlive.com. Today is, of course, Thursday, December 21st, 2023. Running Point is always brought to you each and every day by our good friends over at Greenwood Chevrolet in Austin. I'm going to go ahead and put them in the top right-hand corner of the screen so you know where to go if you are in the market for a new or used vehicle. It's Greenwood Chevrolet in Austin Town. They go the extra mile for you. We do the same on this show. We follow their lead. We thank Greenwood Chevrolet every single day for their contributions to not just Running Point, but everything we do at YSN. We can't do anything we do without them. So thank you to Greenwood Chevrolet, top right-hand corner right there. If you're in the market for a new or used vehicle, make sure to go check them out. Got a good show for you today. It's going to be the last one before Christmas. We have today, and then we're going to be off until Wednesday the 27th. So make it count, right? Make the last show count of the holiday season. Let's go into the scoreboard from last night and talk about what went down in the basketball world last night. The scoreboard presented by Burnett Pools, Spas, and Hot Tubs. As we go into girls basketball first, we had 5 games go on inside the YSN family. First off, Boardman falls in a tough one to Aurora. I was saying yesterday, Aurora is a sneaky team. They're Division II, yes. And a lot of people, base things on division solely. But you got to remember, Aurora is a brand new, not a brand new, but a pretty new Division II team. The last switch is when they moved down to Division II, which was last year. So they're still a big Division II team that plays a very Division I type schedule. So that they're battle tested every time you play them. They don't do anything amazingly well, but they do a lot of things good. And those kind of teams are dangerous too. When you can't hone in on one thing to shut down or one thing to expose on defense, because they don't blow the doors off. Obviously, just 41 points. They don't blow the doors off offensively, but they are very good at a lot of things, and that's hard to contend with. That's sometimes harder to contend with for good teams like Boardman than a team that excels at one thing, because you can pick apart one certain strength, especially if you're good enough and you have the athletes to do it. But it's hard to pick apart, 5 or 6 strengths that might not be, superpowers, but they're done well enough to win games. And Aurora is that kind of team. You'll look at I bet at the end of the season, I would bet money. You'll look at their stats. They'll have maybe one girl that averages double figures and won't be by much, but they'll have 3 or 4 girls that are averaging, the above 6 to 9 kind of range, where they're just kind of, finding ways to score here and there, finding ways to contribute. It's that kind of team in Aurora, and that's what they did last night. They just kind of found ways to chip away every now and then, and they held Boardman down. Their Boardman offense was slowed down, and that's the key to the Spartans. You got to keep them out of transition. They're so athletic, and they're so fast. They like to run up and down the floor. So Aurora did a good job slowing them down a little bit. They had a little bit of size to do that, and a tough one for Boardman, where they're going to learn a lot about themselves. They still have a lot of work to do And then not saying that they're not good. But what I'm seeing from this team, and I'm watching them on film, and I was able to tune into that game a little bit last night, and I'm watching the one thing that comes to my mind is, wow, this team is off to a good start, and I don't think they've hit their ceiling even close. I don't think they've even come close to reaching their full potential, which is scary because they are off to a really good start. This is just their second loss of the season, but I'm watching, thinking, well, there's a lot that they can even do better at that they're not reaching their potential yet. So that should be scary to the whole AAC as a whole. That whole conference is really playing well. And when you're looking at Boardman thinking, well, they haven't even hit their ceiling yet. And you know what? That might be true for almost the entire conference. You look at Fitch, they're starting to get healthy. They started the season missing a couple of players. They hadn't hit their ceiling yet. Howland is probably the one team that is like going to what they expect to be after returning everyone from last year. I mean, they're rolling, obviously, just like every other team in the league. But you watch them on film, and you're like, wow, they're doing everything they can to win these games. Um, and then you look at Canfield, and I don't think Canfield has reached their full potential yet either. And it's all for different reasons too. Because when you look at Canfield, I think one of the reasons why they haven't reached their full potential is because they haven't gelled as a team yet. You have to remember that this is a new kind of group of varsity players playing together for the first time. Not a lot of returning starters. They lost a lot of seniors last year. So you have some players that played, quality minutes last year for sure. But now they're in bigger roles. They're working with different people. There are some new faces on the team, new faces on the varsity floor. It's all just trying to click and get in sync. And I saw that a lot in the Marlington game. I don't think they were in sync or clicking with each other that yet. They didn't run a lot of sets that well. They didn't execute their half court that well. That's why their offense really stalled in the first half. Once they find that rhythm and they find that synchronization with each other, that's going to be a team that also is going to, realize their potential, because I think they're very talented, play very good defense. They have shooters. They have a good ball handlers. I think Canfield's going to be pretty good. I like this AAC, and we still have not seen one conference game yet. So buckle up in January, because these teams are going to play each other a lot, and I'm excited for it. Actually, we have our first conference game in the AAC tonight because Howland is going to play Warren Harding. So it's our first chance to see an AAC game tonight. And Harding isn't a YSN team, but they're one of those teams in the mix too. I don't think they're going to be, a team that everyone puts in the basement, and I don't think it's going to be a 4-team race. I think Warren Harding has the coaching and the athletes to contend. We move on from Boardman and their loss to Aurora, and we go to East Palestine. They got a big win over Lordstown, 46-30. The final score there. Bulldogs get the victory. A big win for them. Heartland Christian, great win for them at home against Valley Christian. 58-23, the final score there. I have stats for this one, so let's dive into what was going on with this matchup with Heartland Christian. You look at the Heartland stats, really balanced, and Sarah Reynolds led them with 15. No, I'm mistaken. She had 15. Not lead them though. Riley Shadowin led them with 18. Sarah Reynolds had 15, and Rachel Reynolds had 10. So you have 3 girls with double figures. And when Heartland has won this year, that's kind of been the show. It's been those 3 that have been pulling the cart. So they're making strides. They're finding ways to win. I like what I see from this Heartland Christian team. I've only seen them once live this year, and Sarah Reynolds did not play in that game, so that kind of took them a little bit out of what they like to do. But I still like what I see from Heartland Christian. I really do. I think they have a good blend of size and guard play, starting to build. Right, we saw them down for a couple of years in a row after actually having quite a bit of success not too long ago. So now trying to rebuild, trying to get back on that road of winning. And I think one of the ways they do it is just multiple facets of the game being there. They have a good post player. They can body up a lot of different people, in Rachel Reynolds, who scored 10 points last night, but they have really good guard play. They get Sarah Reynolds, they get Shadowins, who are both really good ball handlers. They can shoot from just about anywhere on the floor, and that can really hurt teams. And Heartland is also good at getting to the free throw line. They got there 16 times last night, so they're really good getting inside, drawing contact, and getting to the line, which any team that gets to the line a lot is going to have chances to win. I don't care what talent gap there is against the other team. If you get to the free throw line, talent goes out the window, and it says, hey, make your free throws, right? You don't have to be a good ball handler to make your free throws. You don't have to be fast to make your free throws. You just got to make them, I mean, you have to be a good shooter, of course. But all the other things that it takes to score in basketball, not really a factor when you're getting to the free throw line a lot. And Heartland is getting to there quite a bit. Like I said, 16 times last night. For Valley Christian, obviously it's been a struggle. They came off their first win of the season. They had 3 girls get 4 points on the night. That was Kivana Crockett had 4 points. You had 4 points from Dynasty Bratton, and then another 4 points as well from Valley Christian from Aaliyah Underwood. So, Coach Agresta trying to get as much as he can out of this team. Obviously, they're a team trying to learn. And we had him on Running Point not too long ago to preview the season, and he said he's simplifying things. He's not putting the cart before the horse, and I think you're seeing that as you go on. Obviously, they got the win on Monday. They score for a pretty consistent time. They had the stretch of good scoring in this game. If you look at the quarter breakdown, they had 16 of their 23 points at halftime. They just kind of lost that consistency in the second half. So I think Valley Christian trying to find ways to put it in the bucket. Their defense will come. Their efforts there, just trying to find ways to score a little bit more, be a little bit more consistent on offense. If they're able to double that halftime revenue, then instead of 23, they have 32. Feel a little bit better about themselves and the way the ball's going in the hoop. So Valley Christian, although, obviously record-wise doesn't show it, I think they're a team that is well-coached and definitely making strides. Let's go into a big game of the night. It was Ysn and West Branch. I think a lot of people expected this game to be very competitive, and it was. And it was another tale for West Branch where, the first half was kind of dicey, not their greatest basketball, and then they turned on the second half. This was a 1-point game at halftime. West Branch makes it a 15-point win. It's 3 wins in a row for West Branch where the second half was predominantly better than the first. Now, this is the first team in Ysn that has scored more than 40 points on West Branch. So I'm sure Coach DeShields, although getting the win, not exactly pleased with that because his goal is everybody below 40. But West Branch's offense was up for the task, especially in the second half. Sophia Gregory had a good game. No shocker there. Livy Showalter, also a great performance from her. The reason why this West Branch offense works so much, and I've talked about it before, I've talked about it again, and I'll keep talking about it. They work because they have multiple ways to beat you. They have guards that can drive. Sophia Gregory. They have a post in Livy Showalter. They have lockdown shooters in Chloe Dennison, Audrey Eaton. They have a little bit of a player in Carter Shepard who I like because she's a mix. She can drive. She's a big body. She can post up if she has to. She definitely has the ability to shoot the 3. We've seen that this year. She's hit a couple of big shots. So I like what I see from Carter Shepard in the sense that she's able to do a lot of different things. Same with McKaylin Woods. A lot of different things she's able to do. She can shoot. She can absolutely shoot, but she's also a big body that you can put in the block and post. And we saw her get some points in the paint last night. So, when you have different players that have different skill sets and they're all rolling with what they're able to do, and no one tries to go outside of their strength. You don't see a lot of players that aren't 3-point shooters try to take threes, and you don't see a lot of those guards that are better at 3-point shooting try to get into the lane and drive and finish through contact because that's not their game. They understand what their role is, what their game is, what their strength is, and they go out there and they execute it. One of the things I really love, by the way, and I wanted to bring this up after the last game I was at, but it just slipped my mind because when you watch West Branch warm up, they do something that I should say they don't do something that really is my pet peeve when I watch basketball teams warm up. You'll see a lot of basketball teams. They'll go out there, they'll warm up, they'll do their shoot arounds, and they're taking their players every game I see taking shots, and I'm like, you're not taking that shot during a game. What are you doing practicing it? What are you doing warming up like that? You're not like, you'll see, centers that will never be, open in the 3-point line, just jacking up threes and warm ups. And it's like, why? Don't practice shots you're not going to take in the game. That's just one of the things that I believe in. But West Branch does not do that. You're not going to see a lot of players that won't aren't liable to take threes in the game, just sit in the arc and just try to, kind of haphazardly shoot the ball from 3-point line just to say they're shooting. You see the post players in warm-ups work on post moves and work on, those tough shots inside. You'll see everyone foul shooting. You'll see the 3-point shooters shoot from 3, and then you'll see a couple of those players that are dynamic that can kind of pop from anywhere. They'll hit their spots on the court, the spots they like, the high post, shoot from there, the wing, shoot from there, the baseline, shoot from there, the corner, they'll just go and find their spots on the floor, and they'll really take warm-up seriously. And that comes obviously from coaching. West Branch, well coached as always with Walter Shields, but it also just buys into that. I know my strengths, I know what I'm good at, and I'm not going to try to step outside my game. Those teams that do the other, have girls that are, or guys, because it happens a lot on both sides of the sport, girls or guys that are just kind of doing whatever they want and shoot around. They're just kind of warming up wherever they feel like. They're just going through the motions. Those are the players that will go outside of their strength, and they'll play that hero ball that I despise with a passion, because they don't understand their strengths, and they don't play into their strengths sometimes. West Branch does that beautifully, and I want to commend them for that. And that's why they're undefeated right now, and they keep having these great second half performances. That's the third win in a row, where, like I said, where it was either a 1-point game or tied at halftime. Remember Salem? They were up by 1. They won handedly. Louisville, it was tied at 17. West Branch won handedly. This one, 1-point game. West Branch won handedly. So West Branch is becoming the second half team of the YSN family. Youngstown East wins the Battle of the East, and it is not even close. Bring it back to Youngstown and give it to us. 49-8, the final score over Akron East. Youngstown representing Grit City well. We had boys games last night, starting with the afternoon showdown in the Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse. 79-65. Warren JFK, excuse me. Oh, I'm going to get burned for that. Warren JFK gets the win over Bristol. Michael Gondolian and Jaden Ritchell both get 1,000 career points in this game. How about that? Not only is it cool to get 1,000 career points, but you do it on the biggest stage on the NBA floor of the Cavaliers' home. That's going to be a moment that those two will never, ever, 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 ever forget. So congratulations to both of them for reaching those accomplishments. And then JFK, this was a statement to Division 4, like, hey, we're here, we're in this district, we own this district, because Bristol is probably the team that people think might be the biggest threat to JFK in that district in Division 4. They're obviously a very good program, know how to win games, always in the conversation for districts. And JFK kind of said, you know what, not today, and not in Cleveland. They won handily, 79-65. That was bouncing back one day after their first loss of the season. No practices to fix things. Just, hey, let's get right back to it in the Cavalier Stadium. And they certainly did. They put on a show on the big stage. Edgewood has had a flair for the dramatic the last several games, and that does not disappoint as they get the win by 1 point over Lakeside, 62-61. Warriors. Orange gets another win on the season on the boys' side, 62-47 over Chagrin Falls. We had Grand Valley boys. They fell to Berkshire, 41-38, the final score there. And then last but not least, in boys basketball, it is Middle Ridge getting the big win over Lordstown, the biggest offensive performance so far for the Rams, 74-40, Rams on top. Wrestling, Canfield goes on the road and gets the big win over Beaver Local, 39-33. Beaver Local has obviously been off to a great start where they won their first tournaments, and they also beat Boardman last Wednesday, but they can't make the AAC sweep as they fall to Canfield 39-33 in a very good wrestling match, and Chris Colucci was there as well. So if you want to watch that on demand, make sure to go over to ysnlive.com and find the on-demand section of either Beaver Local or Canfield's page. You can do that by going up. You see these tabs up here on the top right-hand corner of the screen. If you go to schools, you'll see the drop-down menu there, and you just find Canfield or Beaver Local. Either one will work. And you go to their page, and you go to the on-demand section, and once you do that, then you'll be able to buy the downloads there for $2.99, and that's to have forever. Chris Colucci had a great call last night, and he is adding a ton to our wrestling coverage. He will be at the Waterloo tournament this weekend, so that is not at all concluded the wrestling coverage on YSN. But that does conclude the night recap on YSN. We are going to close the book on Wednesday the 20th. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll have more on Running Point, which is always brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. We'll be back in just a bit.
Now you can see every school, to the smallest school, to the intermediate schools, to the schools in the outlying areas. It gives you coverage that you could just never get to before. It's something that's great to experience, and it's opened up a whole new wave of sports viewership. The possibilities are endless here at YSN. Push the envelope every day. Try something new. If it works, great. If it doesn't, well, let's try another angle, and we just keep moving forward. My name is Mike Ackelson, and my sports network is your sports network.
What can you do on over 5,000 acres? At Mill Creek Metro Parks, you can discover unique habitats and wildlife, create memorable family moments, experience history, heritage, and park programs, explore scenic landscapes, take time to relax and be well, connect with nature and each other. Come see what's new at Mill Creek Metro Parks. Plan your trip now at millcreekmetroparks.org.
Going the extra mile at Greenwood Chevrolet means taking care of our local customers.
And it's just a great feeling to put them in a vehicle and get them all excited about a new vehicle.
At the end of the day, our goal is to be someone our customers can count on.
And every day I'll go the extra mile for the community so they can trust us.
To do anything that would convenience the customer or make them feel more at home.
Realizing, number one, that we're here for them and that we're not going to go away.
That's what going the extra mile means, only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
As Comco celebrated 70 years in 2022, we have much to be thankful for. We are proud of the Comco culture as we serve our customers with Comco Care with our premier customer service, quality parts, and on-time delivery. The partnerships we have with our customers and our community are second to none. We thank you for your continued support. We are proud to be part of this community and will continue to offer great jobs for great people.
Change. This one word can make you break out in a cold sweat. But with change comes wisdom, experience, and understanding. At Myers Family Insurance, we can help make changes in Medicare, insurance, and retirement a positive experience for you and your family. We've gone through changes, like our new office and new faces to help our family of clients too.
For all your Medicare needs, call Myers Family Insurance. Check us out online at myersfamilyins.com or find us on Facebook.
As Comco celebrated 70 years in 2022, we have
Shopping for a vehicle online should be easy and worry-free. Introducing Merge from Greenwood Chevrolet, a completely new way to buy a car that combines the convenience of shopping online with the personal touch and expertise that Greenwood is known for. With Merge, shopping is as easy as 1, 2, 3. Choose a vehicle from our pre-owned inventory, build a deal that fits your needs, and finalize the deal with our online buying team. That's car buying in a new lane. Visit greenwoodchevrolet.com and let us go the extra mile for you.
Welcome back to Running Point on ysnlive.com. Anthony Hartwig with you, and we are always brought to you by the people you just heard from Greenwood Chevrolet in Austin Town. They do indeed go the extra mile for you, so you don't have to. And we try to do the same and follow their lead on Running Point. Let's hop into Thursday's schedule, right? We have a big slate of games here on Thursday, December 21st. Some girls' games. I mean, a lot of girls' games. Some boys' games is they're trying to squeeze in as many before the Christmas break starts. We will start with Heartland Christian tonight hosting Latonia. This is girls' basketball. Lakeview goes to Poland as the Bulldogs of Poland try to keep their undefeated mark in the NE8 alive. Remember, Poland has never lost a NE8 game at home. They've lost 3 NE8 games since the start of the conference. They've all been on the road. They've lost at South Range. They've lost at Struthers. They've lost at Girard. They've never lost at home, and that'll be tried to continue tonight. But Lakeview coming off a big win over South Range, which was their first conference victory over the Raiders ever as a member of the NE8. So they're trying to make that 2 for 2. They've never beaten Poland as members of the NE8 either. Can the Bulldogs pull off back-to-back big upsets? We will have to see about that. Salem goes into Crestview. This is a big test for the Rebels as they prepare for a long Christmas break. Remember, it's Salem, it's a break, and then a week from today, it is Champion. So this is a good part of the schedule for the Rebels because they have a big test in Salem, the exact opposite of the team they played on Monday. Remember, Newton Falls is a team that likes to slow the game down, play a zone defense, slow the game down, be very patient on the offensive side of the ball. And Crestview did a good job speeding them up a bit and running with the tempo of that game. But Salem's the opposite. Salem likes to run. Salem likes to use their speed, use their defense, create easy opportunities in transition. So the Rebels are going to have to really adjust the way they played on Thursday. We're also going to have to watch Addison Rhodes because remember, she did not play the entire second half of that game against Newton Falls. Now, it could have been precautionary because they were already kind of in control of that game at halftime. So it not necessarily means that Addison Rhodes was, severely hurt where she couldn't play. It could have just been one of those things where you're a little banged up. We don't want to risk it. And we already have this game, under control. So let's just hold you off. So we'll just have to watch Addison Rhodes tonight and see what she does, see how she looks. Because like I said, you just never know. We go to South Range. They're trying to bounce back and get a win on the road. They're going to Hubbard tonight. We have Champion as part of the Tony Ross tournament at Howland. They're going to play in the first game down there in Howland against St. Joe's Academy. So that's a big test for Champion. Champion's in the same boat as Crestview. They have a big test tonight. They're going to have a couple of practices after the Christmas break to prepare for Crestview. So I'm interested to see how both teams respond to non-conference tests tonight. Howland does have a conference game. That's going to be the second game of their tournament tonight, so it'll be roughly 7:30-ish as the first game starts at 6. They're playing Warren Harding as part of that tournament, so this will count as a tournament win or loss for either team, but it will also count as a conference game. The winners and losers will play each other tomorrow in Howland, by the way, so you'll want to keep an eye on that. Orange Girls are at home against Harvey tonight. You have Girard. They are going on the road to Struthers. That's a big NE8 game for both teams. Brookfield goes to Camel. You have Garrettsville Garfield traveling to Newton Falls. LeBray goes to Liberty. Sebring goes to Western Reserve tonight. You have Springfield and Middle Ridge, the biggest game of the night, hands down. Both teams undefeated in the conference. Both teams have looked very good inside the MVAC. especially Middle Ridge. And Middle Ridge has looked like they're world beaters this year. Their offense hasn't been able to be slowed down yet. They have, I think 3 girls averaging double figures and a fourth one that's very, very close. They've had a couple of girls that aren't averaging double figures that pop up on a given night, and they'll get into double figures. So many players that can beat you. But then again, I'll talk about that game after we get through the schedule. But this one's going to be fun. Valley Christian at Cheney tonight. We have Wyndham hosting Cardinal. I think this one's actually going to be a pretty good basketball game as well between Lowville and Jackson Milton in North Jackson tonight. We have Pymatuning Valley hosting Maplewood. Edison, they are on the road against Conotton Valley, and Cardinal Mooney hits the road against Canton Central Catholic. Boys basketball tonight, we have 4 games on the slate. United Boys, they travel to Heartland Christian. That is a 3:30 tip-off. So it'll be Heartland Christian boys, and then I'm assuming the Heartland Christian JV girls. No, it's going to be like 3 and 3:30. That does not. 2 and 3:30. That's my vision. So actually, Heartland Christian playing right after we get off the air here. So make sure to tune into that. I was like, wait a minute, I thought that said 5. My vision's bad, so I apologize to that. Youngstown East boys are traveling to John Adams tonight. Liberty will go to West Branch tonight on the boys basketball side, and then Archbishop Hoban, they are hosting Covington Catholic tonight, and that is a team, I believe, if it's who I'm thinking of, from Kentucky, that has won a lot of state championships in Kentucky. If I'm thinking of the right school, it could be a different one, but I'm pretty because my cousin went to a Covington Catholic in Kentucky. I want to see. I'm going to do some research here. Hang tight because it's Covington Catholic. I want to see if I'm right. Yeah, Park Hills, Kentucky. This is exactly the school I'm thinking of. They have won multiple state championships in Kentucky, and the thing about Kentucky, if you don't know, they don't have like the division state championships like Ohio does. It is one state champion crowned in Kentucky because of the fact that I think I was explained to this by my cousin that goes down there, and I'm trying to recall exactly what he said. But there are a ton of schools in the urban parts of Kentucky that make up a big population of the high schools in the state. So Lexington, Louisville, those 2 cities have a big hub of big schools in the suburbs of those 2 cities. And then the rest of the state has this kind of the rural, every now and then pops up the high school. So for some reason that indicates that they're going to have the one state champion. So definitely tough for your smaller schools in Kentucky to win a state championship. But I know Covington Catholic, a very good. In fact, a couple of years ago, I actually was down there for the Kentucky State Championship, and I went to Rupp Arena to watch it. And I believe Covington Catholic was playing in that state championship game. So this is a big test for Hoban. Covington Catholic's 5-2 on the year so far. And you look, they have wins against St. Xavier, Simon Kinston, Great Crossing, St. Henry, Newport, and they're coming off a 74-60 loss. They lost their 3rd game of the year, and they're coming off of a loss as they venture up into our neck of the woods against Archbishop Hoban. So that will be fun to watch to see how the Knights handle a very premier powerhouse in the state of Kentucky. Around the Lexington area, right across the border from Cincinnati, if I do recall where Covington Catholic is. So that's kind of the schedule. I'm going to go over the games that will be on the network and the announcers that will be there for them. Let's go. Thursday, the 21st. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 girls games on the network. Geo Centriglia will be at Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse for the Heartland Girls and then the Heartland Boys after. Sam Ballast and Jake Nicholas will be at Poland for the Lakeview of Poland game. Those guys have been traveling with Lakeview boys and girls all season, so they get the home game there from Poland. Tony Perazio will be at Crestview for Salem against Crestview. I think that's going to be a really good game. South Range is going to be at Hubbard. I will be at that one. Noah Ricks is doing both the games at Howland, so he'll have Champion St. Joe's covered starting at 6, and then Howland and Warren Harding starting at. Oh, I'm sorry. That's actually. No, it's right. Our scoreboard has them both at 5:30, but Champion will probably be at 5-ish, 5:30, and then Warren Harding and Howland will be at 7. They're the second game. Harvey and Orange will be covered tonight by the school. Steve Hodge will have Gerard at Struthers. We have Matt Porter going to Mineral Ridge for Springfield at Mineral Ridge. We have the Wyndham YouTube going to Wyndham, so that one will be covered between Cardinal, and then Eric Hughes will be at Jackson Milton as they host Lowville. Boys games being covered tonight. Obviously, the Heartland Christian game will be covered by Mr. Centiglia, who is down there for the girls game as well. So that one has he covered. United at Heartland Christian at Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse. And then Liberty and West Branch will be covered tonight by Michael Janaki. So that one will be there for you as well. By the way, that game between Hoban and Covington Catholic is being played at Archbishop McNicholas. So not a home game, a neutral site game for those two getting squared away tonight as well. I'm just gonna take the time because we have a little bit of time before we get off the air to talk about some of these games that I think are going to be really fun to watch. And I want to talk about first the Springfield and Mineral Ridge game and what this means because Springfield, obviously the reigning MVAC champs. They went to regionals last year. They went to state last year. They're coming back. They look really good. They have 2 losses on the season, both by 1 possession, by a combined 3 points. So even in those games, they've been right there. And those are losses to Crestview and Poland. Poland in overtime. Crestview 2 points, 54-52. So you look at that, and then you look at Mineral Ridge and the way Mineral Ridge has been winning. They haven't played in a ton of close games, but they have been offensive juggernauts so far. And I think the difference in this game is going to be what Mineral Ridge's defense can do with Jamaica Brungard. And if they fall into the trap of having to double her, I think it's going to be a long night for their defense because their guards at Springfield can shoot. So if you double them and you give open looks in the perimeter, you're gonna have a long day. What I think Mineral Ridge should do is body her up the best he can. If she goes off for 25 or 24, you can live with that. But you really make life difficult on everybody else. You don't let their shooters get any space. You try to keep a body on everybody, and you try to make sure that their guards aren't getting involved in the offense, which will require not playing in zone. I know the go-to here when you don't have the size advantage and you're so worried about Brungard getting inside, you want to play a nice zone defense to pack it in and stop it from getting inside. And that's all good and dandy, but I've seen Springfield tear apart zone defenses way too much to want to do that. They're good at shooting. They have good shooters. Jamaica Brungard is going to find a way to score no matter what kind of defense you throw at her. So you're not going to stop her with the zone. So it's not like you're taking her out of the game. If you zone up the Tigers, they'll find a way to get her the ball. They'll get her in the high post, or they'll let her drive. Even she can drive from the perimeter. So they'll find ways to get her to score. Don't you worry about that. So you're really not the risk reward of playing a zone. I think is just too high because you're not going to stop her with it, and you're going to give up open looks more times than not. And these Tigers, especially Mariana Toscano, can hit threes at a high rate. You see This year, Ava Vecchione is starting to get more involved in the offense because she's averaging double figures. I think Kerrigan Mullen is coming into her confidence. She's starting to hit a couple of threes. So you have shooters on this team that can definitely knock your lights out if you let them. So I would not try zone too much tonight, especially in an effort to try to box in the post, because like I said, they're going to get Jamaica Brungard the ball, and she's going to find her way to score. What I do is I just say, hey, you're going to be physical with her. With Ava Hewlett, I think would be a perfect defender for that. She's not as big as Jamaica Brungard, but she's physical. You're going to push her around a little bit, frustrate her a little bit, get her into that physical kind of game. Maybe limit her to 15 to 20 points if you can, but if you can't, you're going to make life very difficult on their guards. And then on offense for Middle Ridge, do exactly what you've been doing. Stay balanced. Don't play hero ball. Don't try to be the big player. Just stay very balanced on offense. They have to have a good offensive day, I think. I don't think they're going to stop the Tigers' offense per se. I think they're going to be able to slow them down a bit, but I think the Tigers will get out of this game with 40 to 50 points, maybe the low 50s. So Middle Ridge is going to have to score to win this game, but they have been scoring all year. So I'm very interested to see how this game goes. And to add all to that meat, you also get the nice topping of this is for first place in the conference. And this is what Middle Ridge has been hungry for all year, the chance to belong in this MVAC, because I think coming into the season, everyone was talking about Springfield being the favorites, maybe Western Reserve a little bit, but I don't think anyone was talking about Middle Ridge being a team that could win the MVAC. I wasn't. I'll own up to it. I wasn't one of the people that were sitting here planting the flag on the Rams saying they have what it takes to win the MVAC. I thought they were 1 year away, and I'll be honest about that. I thought they were still young. They still had young players that I thought would find a couple of young mistakes along the way, which they still could. We're still early. That still could happen. But I thought maybe next year when those leaders were seniors and they had one more year of really high level varsity experience in the belt, then they can make a run. And then obviously in the same breath, Springfield would lose a very important player in Ava Vecchione. So you wonder what they would look like next year. You just felt like maybe next year was Middle Ridge's year, but they're saying no. We're going after it this year. We're ahead of schedule a little bit, and they have run the table so far. They're undefeated. No one's touched the Rams. So undefeated Middle Ridge against undefeated in the league Springfield, but 2-loss overall Springfield. Be interested to see who we think the favorite is of this game. I think I've always stood by your favorites until you're not, right? Until someone beats you. So Springfield's the reigning champions. They've been playing like that in the league this year. They haven't done anything to say that they're not the favorites right now. But Middle Ridge has a good chance to do that tonight. It's their home court too. Got to protect your home court because it's going to be really hard to go and split in the jungle if you don't win this game down there in Springfield. So very interested to see how this game goes. Like what I'm seeing from both teams. Ava Hewlett's going to have a big day. She always does. But I want to see the Sullivan Sandys of the world. I want to see Lily Marilillo. I want to see Gianna Gilbert. I want to see all those girls have big days for Middle Ridge if they want to win. So that'll be interesting. Another game I'm kind of gravitating towards, to be honest, is this Lowville Jackson Milton game. I think this is going to be very competitive. Both young, both finding their way a little bit. Both have had stretches of games where they have looked really good. You remember Lowville not too long ago, they went toe-to-toe with Springfield, 58-54. They were right there, right in the thick of things. And Jackson Milton at times has looked very, very good. They have a very young core of freshmen that look like they can do a lot of things. I like Amani Yassine. I really like Hannah Huziak. I like watching her play. I haven't seen Louisville live yet. I wish I could soon. But this one's going to be fun between Jackson Milton and Louisville. I think this will be one of the closer games of the night. Really, really do. I will be at South Range and Hubbard. And when you look at this game, two teams that are trying to find their footing a little bit. We've seen both of them struggle with inconsistencies, look good at times, looked not good at times. Hubbard looked really good to open the season against Springfield. They had a good chance to win that game, lost a little bit of footing towards the end, so Springfield won by 9, but they were very competitive with a very good Springfield team. We saw them go into double overtime and win their last NE8 game, but we've also seen them just not look great. Against Poland, they didn't look great. So both teams looking a little bit inconsistent at times. South Range looked really, really good against Struthers, 54-40. They got a big win. They looked good at times against Lakeview. Couldn't get big stops when they needed them. They looked good at times against United. So they want a consistent game. They want some consistency. Both teams trying to find it. Both teams have players that can find it, and they can turn things around pretty easily. I think Devin Sourwine for South Range is that girl that can turn the ship around really quick. And I think for Hubbard, I think is one, it's Phoebe Rusnak, who is very impressive. But I also like Jillian Palumbo. I like what she brings to the team. I think she has a lot of those intangibles. When I did their game against Springfield, she wasn't scoring a lot, but she had a lot of steals, a lot of assists. She knew where to get the ball. She was a facilitator, and those kind of players are underappreciated. So I'm gonna give her some limelight there and throw her name out as well. So I think this one is also going to be very interesting. I hope it is because I'm on the call, and it's always fun to call very interesting games between Hubbard and South Range. Tony Ross tournament, everyone watch that. And go check out Noah Ricks. This is going to be fun. And the winners play each other tomorrow, so you have 2 days. 2 days of great basketball from Howland. A combined 4 games in 2 days. Going to be a fun time. Make sure to tune into that one tonight on YSN. And also make sure to tune in to Heartland Christian, girls and boys, starting right after the show. Our show goes off the air. You'll be able to get to that one from Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse as the girls play at 2, boys play at 3:30. All these games can be found at ysnlive.com/live. Don't forget that. And don't forget to tune in. We're going to sign off from today because that's all we have to talk about. We've gone over the schedule. We've gone over everything that's going on. We are going to have a hiatus over the Christmas break. We will be back on Wednesday, December 27th, the Wednesday after Christmas. We'll be back. We'll talk about everything that happened in the time between now and then. We'll preview what's going to happen the next couple of days after that. And obviously, that'll be Wrestling Wednesdays as well. So we'll have Gary Altizer back when we come back on Wednesday. But until then, I'm Anthony Hartwig. Thank you so much for tuning in today. And we will see you all again soon. This has been Running Point, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. Tune in tonight,